6:30 CHED. Bruce Bowie.
You know, I might be okay. I might just make it through this. I was a little worried about this last part here. And so anyway, I just didn't know what I was going to say here at the end, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to hold it together. But so many people have talked about being involved in the community and that type of thing. And so I really have to thank my wife, Mary, because she's spent a lot of nights home alone. So she's been a huge support. I shared a little bit about my faith with Ryan yesterday. I thank God he's helped me through all of this. Times when I thought, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get through this? And he's been my strength. Anyway, everybody, so what are you going to do for your last thing on air? And I didn't know there were so many options, so many possibilities. But I thought maybe the best thing I can do is just play something from what we did back in the day. And I've had so many former co-hosts on the last couple of weeks. And so I don't think there's any part of my career I didn't enjoy. And I'm just going to say this, and I talked about this with Ryan. When I started, I had no end of people saying, this is stupid. There's no future in radio. So go after your dreams. 47 years later, here I am. So I leave you with this. This was some of our glory years that we had back in the day, right here on 6:30 CHED.
As we launch into another Morning Crew extravaganza, we have this message from the manager.
I'm very sorry about all this.
Good morning. Yes, we are all here.
If you turn the volume up very loud, it will drown out screams.
6:09.
Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. All the time I wake up, wonder what they say and do. Crazy bunch of coconuts, they are crazy nuts. CHED Morning Crew, Morning Crew. Play me good music, CHED Morning Crew. Play me hot hits, oh they drive me crazy, but you know, Morning Crew is alright.
From high over Alberta's morning sky, serving Edmonton, Sherwood Park, St. Albert, Leduc, and Spruce Grove, you're turned on to the high-powered, hot-rockin' CHED Morning Crew.
Good morning, everybody. 10 minutes past 7 as we take to the diamond to Bruce Bowie on the mound. Grant Ween's playing third base. The coach coming in from the bullpen.
Horst playing the field.
Back off, Moeller. We'll get to you later. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The team is assembled. We don't have any tune to back up, but we've got our mouth full of sushi, and we're ready for a little morning workouts. All right, everybody. Shut up! Van Halen with the Morning Crew on 6:30 CHED.
6:30 CHED and Bob Dylan knocking on heaven's door. Good afternoon. I am Bruce Bowie. And what kind of a day has Bruce Bowie had? Well, my car wouldn't start this morning. I waited 2 hours for a boost that was supposed to take 3/4 of an hour to get here. It took me about an hour to drive a trip that usually takes me 20 minutes. Other than that, day's been just fine. Let's go shopping.
Here at Horilac Park, the scene of the 1977 CHED bicycle picnic.
Listening to the theme of the show this morning, and I was quite enthralled by that. And then I heard you and Jesperson talking about 5 minutes ago, and I thought, you know what, after all these years, Bruce can still hook that audience. I was listening to you guys talk about some big announcement, and I was thinking, wow, this sounds really, really interesting and really exciting. But I want to turn things over to you, Bruce, and we've worked together a long time and known each other a lot longer than that, and I know that you've been doing a lot of thinking and a lot of reflecting over the last couple of years, and certainly over the last several months, and I know that you have something that you want to share with your listeners this morning.
Well, the founder of our company, J.R. Shaw, who is our ultimate big boss, I knew him well in town here, and I was lucky to be invited to some of his Christmas parties. And I remember him telling a group of shareholders one time that his theory in business was that you hire the best people and leave them alone, and just don't interfere unless something starts going sideways. And I kind of thought maybe that was your policy too, Sid, because you've kind of pretty much left me alone the whole 9 years I've been working for you here at CHED, so thank you for that.
Well, the good ones get a little bit of leeway, Bruce.
Well, thank you. Well, I've told you my story before, and I'm not sure it's unsimilar to yours. You grew up in small town Ontario, if I'm not mistaken. Sure. There was no FM when I was a kid.
No. AM stereo was going to be huge.
Oh, yeah. I was going to take over the world, and that never happened. But, Sid, I remember my parents gave me their old Rogers Majestic radio, which I still have. It was a tube radio, and they thought I was sleeping, but late at night I'd be sitting there, and there'd be that yellow-white glow coming off the tubes, and the AM bounce, I'd be tuning in stations from WSTP in Minneapolis, St. Paul. My favorite was WS Chicago. John Records Landecker. Records truly is my middle name. This guy was unbelievable. And so I thought, man, these guys sound like they're having fun. I'd like to do that. And then during the day, even down there in southern Saskatchewan, we would get 630 CHED. So I would hear West Montgomery at Bob McCord and thought, man, this is unbelievable. I'd love to do that for a living. And so it took a lot of door knocking, but I finally got my first job in Lloydminster. I'm not going to go through the whole history. But it seems like it's been 3 or 4 days, and now 47 years later, here we are. I think it was about 6 months ago I came in and I said, I think I've decided on a date. So
I remember that.
Yeah. So after 47 years, yes, I've decided, there was a song the Byrds did, and it was based on the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, and Pete Seeger adapted the lyrics. To everything there is a season. And part of that is there's a time to build, a time to tear down. So 47 years ago was the time to build, this is the time to tear down. So it's time to move on, do something else now, and let somebody else have a shot at this. In fact, I remember Charles Adler had an editorial a couple of months ago. He said, who leaves so they could give a younger guy a chance? And you know what? It is time to do that. There are times when you have to do that. And I see Chris Sheets standing in here, so I don't know who's taking over from me. But
well, Bruce, it's been a remarkable run. I mean, I was a fan of yours long before we started working together, long before we met. And to be able to work as closely as we've been able to over the last number of years has been a real highlight of my career. Congratulations on your career and good luck in your retirement.
Thank
I know
you,
that
Sid.
You'll be on the air for a few weeks yet.
Yes.
So you'll have time to do a little reminiscing on your show over the next few weeks, probably.
Well, exactly. August 30th, the last day. So I think more towards the last week, we'll play some old stuff we used to do. But I have to tell you a story about when I first came to CHED. And a year and a half into the business, I never dreamed I would be in Edmonton, a major market, let alone the station that I'd listened to and revered as a kid. And personalities, the first one I met was Wes Montgomery. And I was doing the all-night show, as you do when you come to CHED. And he was supposed to be on at 5:30. He rolled in at 6:15. And so my first introduction to Wes was, I'm late every morning, get used to this kid. So that was Wes. But then I met this legend, Bob McCord, and he became my general manager later at Kissin as well. And when Bob came in the building, you knew he was there before you ever saw him, because there was this exuberance and this positive, the same thing you heard on the air, you heard from Bob off air as well. And I have to tell you a quick story. I wasn't at CHED too long before Bob took me aside one day and he said, I think you might have some promise. I'm going to mentor you. I thought, oh my gosh, Bob McCord mentoring me, this legend? And anyway, I don't think there was any mentoring that happened, but just the thought that he would say that, I was just soaring on eagle wings. So I made a call yesterday. I thought, I wonder if Bob would come on the show with me. Do you remember that day, Bob?
What'd you say? Is it Bruce Bowie?
Yes! And you still sound exactly the same. Yeah.
Are you sure you're not David Bowie or Ziggy Stardust, a.k.a.?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so good to hear your voice, for everybody in Edmonton to hear your voice as well, Bob.
Yeah, well, I brought it with me.
That's part of the package. Yeah.
Exactly.
I told Bob this story yesterday. Stephen Wright has a joke about these two guys who were born in the same hospital, same day, a bed apart from each other. And just by coincidence, 89 years later, they both wind up terminally ill. They wind up same hospital, a bed beside each other. One turns to the other and says, so, what did you think? So, after 47 years, Bob, what do you think?
Not much.
No,
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. No, honestly, that's a true story. I appreciated your support, and that carried me a long way. There was a young kid that came into the station one time, and Jim McLaughlin was our program director, and he said, I'd like to get into radio. Jim said, well, you know what? I don't have time, but just go sit in on Bob's show. And so, we planned things out with sound effects. We've got computers and how to do that, but then it was like cart machines. So if you wanted a door slam, you had to have a cart machine ready to go and an explosion or whatever. And so most of us had this planned out in our mind, maybe a script written, and we'd have everything ready to go. And Bob, he'd be listening to somebody or talking to somebody on the phone. All of a sudden, the record would end, and he'd turn on his microphone, and he's talking and making this up as he goes along, and he's grabbing carts behind them and slamming in the machine, and it was just brilliance every time. And this kid watched all of this, and he walked out and said to Jim, I don't think I want to do this. Yes, you set the standard, my friend.
I love it.
Yeah, so I'm just warning you that now I'm going to have more time on my hands after the end of August, so I may be coming down to California, and I'm giving it 3 weeks before Teresa says, get him off our couch.
Yeah, or if you don't, she'll kick you off.
All right. Bob, thank you for your support, all you've meant to me over these years.
All right, my friend.
Yeah.
Good luck to you. I appreciate it.
All right. How many years you've been retired now, by the way, Bob?
Oh, more than a lot.
Okay, so there's life after retirement.
Just a little bit.
All right. Okay.
All right. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks. All right. Well, it's either that or I'm going to go down to Bonnie Doon Mall, sit with the old guys, and complain about how lousy life is every day, Sid. So anyway, thank you.
Somehow I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Do we know who's taking over?
No.
You know. We just don't know. All right. Well, I guess as they say in radio, stay tuned.